right now something is brewing in Britain. This whole situation was first brought to my attention about 6 or 8 years ago by Tommy Robinson. And that, of course, is the man who's been reporting on all of the Muslim grooming gangs that have been taking advantage of young British girls for apparently decades, all the way back to 1975, apparently, all right? But why is this making headway right now? Because for years, Tommy Robinson was deplatformed and has been imprisoned multiple times by the British government simply for coming out and speaking the truth. However, now we have an advocate in Elon Musk making all of this known, right? Apparently, he has just found out the truth about what's actually happening, and he doesn't like it. So you're getting lots of posts like this one you can see on the screen. But of course, who is Tommy Robinson? He is the misunderstood hero who is trying to bring to light all of this information, and he's been doing it for a very long time, although the chances are you've never heard of him if you're not someone on the right who follows alternative media sources, because he's essentially been silenced and, as I mentioned, arrested multiple times. But what I want to cover today, of course, is all of this being revealed to the leftist news media as if it's the first time they're seeing it as well. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Brian, we've come a long way from those days when Elon Musk, took over Twitter and said, I'm going to make this a free speech marketplace. We're going to be completely neutral and so on. That's just completely out the window. But let's talk about some of these headlines we've been seeing where you have foreign leaders raising questions about the influence that he has.
Yes, and it's because Musk has been raising attention about sexual abuse of children in the United Kingdom dating back decades. Some of these stories actually go back about 20 years. Musk has been bringing them up on X over and over again, in some cases acting as if he's just discovered some of these stories. They are horrible stories, but oftentimes it seems like Musk is coming in like a brand new college freshman, brand new to a subject, as if he's found out about it for the first time. And because his voice is so loud on X, he causes a lot of reaction. That's what these European leaders are reacting to. Musk also is announcing algorithm changes to X. He wants more positive content and less negative content, even as he posts about gangs and about rape and other very negative subjects. It is notable that just as Trump is about to take office, Musk says he wants more positivity, Jim, and less negativity. Isn't that interesting timing?
Very interesting timing. And I have to read this exchange, and I want to caution our viewers, what they're going to hear is slightly disturbing. Disturbing, I shouldn't say slightly, disturbing, between Musk and an ex-user who criticized him. We'll put this on screen. This is the user saying, Elon Musk is rapidly becoming the largest spreader of disinformation in human history, hijacking political debates in the process. The EU, I should say, must take action. And Musk responds, F you, and then an R word, which, I mean, I guess you could look through the way we've pixelated that. It's a derogatory term for people with mental disabilities, mentally challenged people.
So there it is. They're saying Elon Musk is tweeting all this stuff as if he's found out about it for the first time. And that, of course, is because it's been hushed up. It's been covered up. It hasn't been reported by anyone, including CNN. And this is a big story, something that's been going on for 50 years and yet refuses to be investigated. As I had shown on the screen over here, yes, the Labour Party, the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has decided not to go ahead and investigate all of these allegations that have been brought to the forefront by Elon Musk. But CNN, are they going to report on it? No, they're going to get mad at Elon Musk for saying the word retarded, okay? It's been pixelated on the screen. It's very offensive. Don't say the dreaded R word, all right? But nobody cares about that stuff anymore because we want justice, we want truth, and we want accurate reporting. This is the type of thing you used to get removed from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter for, all right? But now it's a different day and age, and we can actually talk about these topics. But now let's go to an interesting exchange by Piers Morgan and Jordan Peterson.
There's another ugly issue here, Piers, that no one will grapple with, which is, you described Robinson as anti-Muslim, let's say. Well, we don't really understand the relationship between the religious doctrine, let's say, and the fact of these crimes. Now, I want to make two cases here. The first case is that 40 out of 50 Muslim majority countries in the world are authoritarian hellholes, and only 3 of them are democracies, and that's Morocco, Indonesia, and Turkey. And, they're not, I wouldn't put them in the highest echelons of stellar states. And so why is that exactly? Is that a deviation from Islamic principles, or is it a consequence of them? Now, no one wants to have that discussion, and it's no bloody wonder. And then, so that's on the negative side, let's say. And there are certainly doctrines in Islam that are very, very difficult to square with free, liberal, Western, Christian democracies. And those differences aren't just apparent, they're deep. Now, I would say on the optimistic side that we could turn to Islamic leaders like those who run the United Arab Emirates, and even to some degree now Saudi Arabia, and the signatories of the Abraham Accords, to find a different pathway. But Europeans are virtue signaling so hard on the progressive side that the fundamental danger from Islamic fundamentalism is going to come from Europe and the UK and not from the Arab states. Now, Tommy Robinson has been pilloried as anti-Islam, but there's a discussion to be had here. And no one wants to have it. And, you know, you said we need a national inquiry. It's like, we need more than a national inquiry. We need something like an international symposium on the relationship between the Christian West and the Islamic world, because there are ugly things afoot, and they've manifested themselves in the most hideous of all possible ways in the UK with regards to these rape crimes and the cover-up. But there's something that needs to be sorted out at the bottom of all this. The participation in these rapes by members of the Pakistani Muslim community, it was like 1 in 7 of the men in some of these communities was directly involved. And that meant everyone knew about it. Absolutely everyone on the Pakistani Muslim side. And the moderates were certainly, you know, silent and complicit. Now, obviously, so were the authorities. And so that's a complete bloody catastrophe for everyone involved.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. This is a huge cover-up. The police knew. There were reports. There were investigations. But now they don't want this information to come out, to be public, to see just how widespread it was. And Keir Starmer, apparently, is the man in charge over all of it for a big portion of this grooming, for a big portion of this cover-up. And Jordan Peterson actually brings up an interesting point. Tommy Robinson is being castigated as anti-Muslim when he is not. He's the first person to admit that he had Muslim friends growing up. They're good people. It's the Islamists. It's the people who want to establish a caliphate. It's the people who want to have Sharia law enshrined and taken over the entire nation as the rule of law. Those are the people we need to watch out for. Those are the ones out there committing these acts specifically against British girls because they want to bring down the country as a whole. And all of these countries, whether it's Sweden, France, Germany, right? They're all feeling the brunt of the exact same thing, right? It is the diversity is our strength crowd that allowed all of this to happen because they're willing to overlook criminal behavior simply due to someone's background or origin or religion, etc. And to this day, the leftists still have the same mantra despite all of the damage that has been done.
And they are actioning the recommendation.
Well, they're not giving us a national inquiry, are they?
They don't need to, because inquiries have already happened. And as they've said repeatedly, inquiries have happened, the results and the recommendations need to be.
Do you know why they're not giving a national inquiry? Because they're more concerned, I'll say this because nobody else is going to say it, they're more concerned about the Labour Party's support among Muslim communities than they are about the girls who are abused, trafficked and abused. That's why they won't commit to a national inquiry.
I mean, that's quite a claim for which you have no evidence at all.
No, well, it's pretty obvious. Jess Phillips, among others, almost lost their seat because of Muslim voters rebelling against the Labour Party.
Jess Phillips has given her, you know, a significant chunk of her career and her life to action against violence against women of all kinds. And it is worth mentioning that the vast, vast majority of sexual violence and violence against women is perpetrated by white men, not by men of any.
You see, now that is exactly the mentality as to why Labour are not committing to the national inquiry. Organised gang-based sexual exploitation is overwhelmingly more likely among Pakistani Muslim gangs. That's an empirical fact. It's in all of the reports. Labour, politicians, activists and advisors like yourself, have to accept, and we can all see it through gritted teeth, that actually this is a problem in predominantly Pakistani Muslim communities. If Labour was serious about the issue, you would come out and say, right, we need to get everything out into the open. We need a national inquiry. I want a name and shame. I want to know what's going on in Bradford, Rotherham, Rochdale, Peterborough.
And what I wonder is, have you read things like the transcripts, the sentencing transcripts of these gangs?
I haven't.
There is a complete difference. It is a completely different set of crime when grown men are basically scouring the streets to look for girls, predominantly based on their skin colour, based on a lack of respect for that skin colour, and torturing them. If you have read these transcripts, and I implore all of you, if you haven't looked at them, you must. Mike, everyone, read these transcripts, and then I'll ask you about them again when you have, and I bet my bottom dollar you will also see what we're talking about. This is a very different thing, and I would say it absolutely does need a national inquiry.
I'm obviously going to have to edit some of that down. This is a whole bunch of stuff that is not YouTube friendly, okay? But here's the basic idea. We know stuff is going on. We know it's really bad. If you read the transcripts, apparently it gets even worse. But the left, they want to sidestep the issue and say, oh, if you happen to be a white male, you're actually far more likely to commit these certain crimes. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about large, organized, sustained abuse of British girls being completely covered up by the police, completely covered up and ignored by the government, who is now actively choosing not to investigate it because of their leftist sensibilities. But of course, that's where we're at right now. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.